This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, the Hermes journey continues. So a while back, I made a video dedicated to the analysis, in-depth analysis of the Hermes journey towards the coveted bags of the brand, Birkin and Kelly's mostly. And the video got really good response, and a lot of y'all's commented on it. So today, the video is going to be the Hermes journey continues with your opinions. I will be reading the comments that you left underneath my initial video of the Hermes journey, and we're going to have a conversation together. Before we get to the reading of your comments, subscribe to my channel, push that subscription button, and next to it, push the join button, become a member today, and gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together. Joining me on Patreon also grants you extra perks. You can also get my merch, Never Give Up on Love, as well as other pieces in my merch store that you can find under www.superdacob.com. Thank you to all my patrons and members who have already pledged, and thank you to all my co-reviewers and co-chatters in the chat section right to the side of me. This video is being filmed live in front of a virtual audience. If you wish to partake in my live streams, they're every Saturday. I live stream every Saturday from the Fashion Bunker, from right here, and everybody's invited to join. So just go to my community tab right around Friday evening, and you will see in my community tab the post and the link to the upcoming live stream where you get to see your current streaming times for your place where you live in, your local streaming show times. So I got my comments here, and in the card section up above, a link to the original video, the Hermes journey, or exposing the Hermes journey. So link in the card up above, but also in the description box down below if you wish to see the original video that I made. Now, to that video, I have received an avalanche of comments, mostly from ladies, but also from a couple of guys, which shows me that mostly ladies are interested in this topic, or are the ones that are potential clients of the Kellys and the Birkins. And I know that I say that all bags are unisex, you wear what you love, but there is a tendency here, and I'm just being analytical, and I'm telling you, it's mostly ladies writing. So the first one is from Susie Q, saying, by the time you spend enough to be offered a bag, you can go pre-loved, spend a little more, and get what you want. This is a good point. I agree with you, Susie. Next comment is by Dawn Loves Couture. I despise the term journey, associated with anything other than referring to an actual place. This is a good one, Dawn. I buy Hermes what I like, and I don't care about getting a Kelly or a Birkin. I'm not spending 10K for the opportunity to buy a 10K bag. I personally like the design of their other bags much better. I've seen too many videos of people buying things just to fulfill their journey spending. Really? Why would anyone do that? That's a good point, Dawn. And I think a point that I made in my initial video that some people didn't really get, they said, yeah, but some people said, but you're getting it all wrong, Dacob. I love to go to Hermes to buy other products, not just Kellys and Birkins. And the Kelly and Birkin is just an extra perk added on top because I buy a lot at that place. I'm like, wait, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about those people who don't care for anything else Hermes has to offer, but those two most coveted bags. And mind you, I'm wearing an Hermes Kelly necklace from the year 2009/2010 when Jean-Paul Gaultier was the artistic director at Hermes, and he designed the choker Kelly necklace. I have several pieces myself from Hermes. I was offered the opportunity to purchase a Birkin. I didn't want it. So that's just me. But just to clarify something that was also not very clear, apparently not so clear to many people watching, or some people watching the other video, that I made about the exposing the journey, they said, you know, stuff like, well, if you don't like the brand, you don't have to make a video about it. I'm like, it's not that I don't like the brand. I like Hermes quite a bit. I hate their marketing strategies, but I like the kind of kinky stuff that's kind of horse crop related. I love my Hermes crop. I love my Hermes jewelry. Look, here I have, it's a simple piece, but let me put it on. So, love it. Went in, bought it, didn't want anything else. I didn't buy this because I thought maybe one day I'd be able to get a Kelly. No. Then, you know, another time I went in, got my tarot cards. Just to clarify, you guys, I love these weird things that Hermes, well, not that jewelry is weird, but I love their silver. I think their silver is great quality. Got my tarot cards from them as well. They're so gorgeous. These playing cards. Edged in this. Look at the silver, darling. So we got the tarot cards and, you know, perfumes. I love the Hermes range. So, you know, don't come for me saying like, oh, if you don't like the brand. No, no, no. Don't get me wrong. I do like the brand. I just don't like the marketing strategy for a lot of their things. And anyway, so enough of me blabbering. I'm here to read your comments. Let me get to the next one. Tati, who is also Tati Y, who is also a member of the Fashion Bunker. Thank you so much for being a member. You can also become a member by pushing the join button next to the subscription button. And thumb up this video if you're liking it thus far. Don't forget to thumb it up. Tati says, it's like joining Scientology, laughing. I said that in the video, and Tati is laughing. Said, I find people and YouTubers criticizing Chanel increases and saying that they are not buying from the brand anymore because a Chanel bag price at the level price for a Birkin, it can't be... yada, yada, yada. Yet they are okay going through the Hermes journey and getting later the Birkin or Kelly, but they justify the journey as not part of the price for the Birkin or Kelly. I agree with you. Why not price the bag directly at $20,000 and let the clients spend their money in what they really want? FF Lux Lover Channel says, I love the Kelly, but I would never want to be in their game. I just don't want to spend my money on the stuff that I don't want during the journey. Kamikani writes, how to stop the game? Buy vintage. Get you a great shoe and leathers repair shop like some brand I'm not going to mention to restore the bag and save a lot of money on the way. Robin said, that was kind of a commercial. Robin said, which I'm not going to mention. I wouldn't pay $1 for that. Bull beep, says Robin. Yamil Cordova says, it is literally like when you go to the store and they say whatever you want is sold out because they're saving it for themselves or a friend. That's a good one. And it does happen. It does happen. Maria Town says, Hermes marketing scheme is morally wrong. I'm not playing their games and will not be manipulated. So stupid. My Sita G says, I cringe every time I hear my journey when talking about a handbag. Silly. Emily Cooks in Chanel says, hi, about the journey. It is possible to get a bag without having any expense history in Hermes. I know for a fact. My friend's daughter, who's an Hermes employee, my friend's, okay, so she knows for a fact that her friend's daughter who works at Hermes, that before Christmas and sometime in the middle of the year, that was loud, let me repeat this again. So I know for a fact, my friend's daughter who's an Hermes employee, that before Christmas and sometime in the middle of the year, Hermes will let a lucky few buy their bags. Will let a lucky few buy their bags, but you gotta be lucky to drop 10K. And 10K is just a random number. They can cost much, much more. The Hermes journey has been blown out of proportion by eager buyers. The ones who can't wait and believe in the hype. Oh well, if it works for Hermes, why not? Marina Kiritsis then replied to Emily and said, the lucky few will be allowed to buy a bag. You just made Dacob's point, because that's the point I was making in my video. Thank you so much for commenting for me. Thank you so much. D.S. wrote, I have some good news for you. And some bad news. I have heard many Hermes journey stories, and the one method of getting a bag without buying out of the store first is to ask for a Birkin or Kelly in any of the exotics. And be specific on what exotic material you want. Every time I have seen people attempt this without even having an account at Hermes, they walk out of the store with it first try. I'm speaking for the US Hermes, as these are the only places I have seen this done and work. When you go in there asking for an exotic, they know you are willing to drop some serious dough on something. And yes, to the majority of people, a $15,000 Togo leather Birkin is serious dough, but to Hermes, it's not. Plus, buying exotic Birkins and Kellys are always a good investment. While the bag may only be $30,000 in the store, the resale value can be at least double. Exotics are a lot cheaper to buy in store than secondary markets and sell a lot easier. I can tell you that the price of the Himalayan Croc Birkin in the store is nowhere near the price they sell for auction. Also, common sense says don't dress like a slob so they can take you seriously. Look rich, buy rich, and you will be richly rewarded. If you look like you make $25,000 a year, they already know in their mind you cannot afford anything in the store and will even go out of their way to ignore you. Only Kim Kardashian can walk into Hermes with sweatpants on and walk out with 5 Birkins. A couple of things you said here really pushes my buttons. So how do we... All right, listen. So much is wrong here. Where to begath? Where to begath? First of all, exotics. That's not good news for me because I don't buy exotics. I don't. I am against that. Now, 10 or 15 years ago, for a job that I had, I actually needed 2 cowboy boots in python leather, which I still have to this day. I'm never going to throw them away, but that was the last time and I needed it. And that was fine, but I'm never going to do it again. Different mentality. I have grown since then. Exotics ain't going to happen. Not with me. First thing. So... that ain't good news for me. Not that I care because I don't want to go to Hermes and get a Birkin or Kelly anyway, but that's not really good news. And seeing a bag as an investment, again, I always say this to people, if you're going to see a bag as an investment, then you shouldn't be buying the bag probably. Then the bag ain't for you. Because if you start talking about, that's just like convincing yourself that it's okay to drop $30,000 on something that ain't worth $30,000. So you got to kind of find ways to justify the spend by saying, well, you know, it's a great investment. I could resell it. Really? Who's really going to resell it one day? Now, although we do know, and this is, again, shows us and proves to us the hyped artificiality, the artificial unattainability, the artificial rarity of these bags. You can easily debunk it. The secondary market is flooded with them. A lot of people have 10s and 20s and 30s and 40 pieces of 40 Birkins at home. Sure, they're rich, but still, the bags are there. It's not like they're rare. And so there's that, you know, it's artificially hyped. That's a big problem I have with this whole journey that's artificially created. Then this whole judgment on... if you make $25,000 a year, then they already know you cannot afford anything of this. I mean, excuse me, you're the one working in the store as a sales associate. So I gather you're also not in a position to just not have a job and just enjoy life and go shopping every day. So don't become a snob from a position that you cannot afford to be a snob. Nobody, first of all, let's be very clear about this. Nobody's morally allowed to be a snob. Being a snob is a terrible thing. But then you work in a store and you think that you can afford being a snob because you have the power of veto to decide whether or not somebody can get a Birkin or not a Birkin because, and then you scan them for what they're wearing. Honestly, like some sales associates might be that way, but a lot of them are not. And I know for experience because I shop a lot. I'm one of those shopping people that it's a problem. I've stopped since the lockdown. I have cut down tremendously. I am very much more aware and minimized my shopping extremely. I live for perfumes, so that's my guilty pleasure, but everything else is very, very, very controlled because I don't need anything. I mean, it's just like I buy special things that I really love, but I'm not going to just shop because I'm bored with life. First world problems. I'm bored, so I'm going to go shopping. No. So, but if you are in a position that you need a job and you need to work and maybe you love Hermes and you're super lucky when Hermes hires you, I would show more enthusiasm. If I would really love the brand so much that I wanted to work for that brand as a sales associate and then I finally get that job, I would be so thrilled. And I would honestly, my task would be, sure, you need your commissions and your boni and all that stuff. And allegedly, sales associates don't get commission for Birkins and Kellys, but they get commission on other things. Who knows? It doesn't even matter. But I would feel the pain of all those people that want the Birkin and the Kelly, but Hermes made it so that it's not that attainable because that's the sad thing about Hermes. Like, it is a cool brand. It does have a lot of interesting things, but they have literally locked themselves up in this golden cage where they have made, like, the whole brand is reduced to 2 bags. That's really, I mean, really, if you think of it, that is so sad because that entire brand, its strength is in the fragile hands of only 2 bags. That's it. You take those 2 out of the equation, if they stop producing them tomorrow, Hermes would be out of business before you could say, Birkin, I'm a Birkin out of here. And this is the sad truth. Their marketing they're pokering it big time. Big time. Big time. And then the comparison that people say, but Chanel is trying to be like Hermes. Chanel is not that stupid. Chanel would never be like Hermes. And let me tell you why. Because while at Hermes, and again, some of you are going to come for me and say like, yeah, but I love to buy the silk carrés and the homeware and the 50th frickin' blanket with the H on it. Sure, buy your frickin' blanket with the H on it and the click-clacks and the this and the that. Go for it. But most other people just need to buy all that stuff to be able to hopefully one day get the Birkin. In some countries where they're not allowed to just walk in and ask for a Birkin and buy it. In some countries, like in France, for example, it's possible. So people say. But here's the point what I want to make. So Hermes doesn't have that huge desirability all across the boards. And it is cheaper than Chanel, not when it comes in the bag department, but when it comes to accessories, sometimes small leather goods, home decor. Chanel is way more covetable, desirable when it comes to that stuff. So Chanel doesn't need to cut themselves, chop their feet off by pushing their whole marketing strategy into making the 1112, which used to be called a timeless classic bag. So 1112 and 255, to turn the 1112 and the 255 into the Kelly and Birkin of Chanel. They don't want to do that because they know the price that comes with that. If you're going to turn those 2 bags into the most desirable Olympus pieces at Chanel, then they know that people are going to have to start buying other stuff in order to one day obtain those 2 bags. And they're going to have to lower consequently certain price. Hermes has to do it because their other pieces aren't that desirable. So those pieces cost less than at Chanel. But Chanel, on the other hand, maintains interesting designs and there's a desirability about. Listen, let's not touch base on the quality that in some cases is lacking with some of their newer pieces at Chanel. But just design-wise, there's a fresher approach to things. And I love their costume jewelry. I love their small leather goods. I love the fluffy feeling that their pieces give me. There's just something flamboyant and opulent about Chanel that is always refreshing to me. And all of their pieces are desirable across the board. While Hermes has to play it very close to home. They got to stick to those 2 bags, because if they lose those 2 bags, they're going to close their business. Because selling saddles for horses, as much as I love them for the fact that they do horse riding gear, horse saddles alone ain't going to save the brand. And you can just sell so many frickin' sandals with the leather H on them, and you can sell just so many click-clacks, but that ain't enough, and their clothes are so rigid, and they could be as comfortable as you want, but they're boring. There's, and it's fine. That's their tradition. They want to stick to that French anal tradition. That's the aesthetic. And it's that stick up a butt aesthetic. And it's an aesthetic, just like any other. Just like a ratchet hoe that wants to go dancing with nipples falling out while she dances, that's also an aesthetic. And I don't judge either one of the two. Both have pros and cons, okay? So I'm not the one who's judging here. I'm just saying Chanel will never go that route. They're not going to turn their 1112 and 255 into a Kelly and Birkin, because there's too much of a price to pay for the brand to do that. And Hermes's hands are tied because they're stuck with those 2 bags and they're trying desperately. I can also understand them, poor things. In a way, they're also like, oh God, we can't just keep selling these bags. We gotta maintain that desirability and covetability, because otherwise we literally, the whole world will realize the truth. And the truth is that we, the brand, have just become those 2 bags. We have other amazing products. We have wonderful quality in other products, but the world knows us for those 2 bags. And a couple of perfumes maybe, but alas. And that's the sad truth, you guys. That's the sad truth. It's not like Hermes is a bitch and doesn't want to give you the bag because you look skanky and you don't deserve to wear their bag. No, they're just working really hard to try to hide the fact that their entire strength lies in the fragile hands of those 2 bags. Burshin Erjun says, thank you. Finally, someone points out the elephant in the room. You go on a journey with your life goals, your career, not a bag. Make the bag 20K, indeed. Let's be honest, no one would be buying as much as they are from Hermes, but for the bags. Shelley Bullard says, OMG, the glazing. Seriously, the first time I saw one in person, I thought it had to be fake, because why would such thickly glazed edges cost so much? It was completely real, the bag. R.A. Lundborg says, thank you. To me, Dacob is such a down-to-earth, honest guy. Really like watching your videos. Thank you so much, R.A. Angela Kier Vlog says, very well said, Dacob. Thank you, darling. The real Shakeen says, preach. I agree 100%. The Hermes journey phrase has always made me gag. I ain't kissing up to no sales associate. If anything, they should be kissing up to me. LOL. I'm not about to buy a bunch of items I don't actually want or like just to build up credit. Yes, there are some items from Hermes I genuinely do like and will purchase, but that's besides the point. I love Chanel as a brand, and because I'm so in love with the house, I'm excited about mostly everything they produce. Despite some dwindling quality, but still, the warm, fuzzy feeling I get with the brand is worth it. You need to be in love with the brand and the items they produce to support them with your money. You're absolutely right. If these bags weren't desirable because of exclusivity and being a positional good, not many people would want them. I do appreciate the House of Hermes because they actually do have a wide selection of luxury items at lower price points than Chanel. Example, costume jewelry, home items, etc. So there is something for everyone. It's a great brand to shop from if you are looking to buy gifts for someone special. Relationships with sales associates are important with various houses besides Hermes. I mean, it shouldn't be that way because every customer who comes into the boutique should get the best customer service. But even at Chanel, it sure does help to have a long working relationship with a sales associate to be offered pre-orders for hot items, pre-sale, and special access to seasonal sales. Even repairs are handled differently when you have a long-standing relationship with a sales associate. I loathe any games, ain't nobody got time for that drama. Luxury shopping should be enjoyable, not a stressful hunt. I started to witness a glimmer of a shopping game with Chanel hot seasonal pieces when the lockdown started. Special thanks to resellers and scalpers. I really hope Chanel does not adopt this crooked marketing strategy with their classics. Well done, Dacob. Thank you so much, darling. And I did answer you about this in the comment section, and I just explained it to you guys as well, why I think Chanel will not go down that route of creating artificial limitations on the availability of the 1112 in all its sizes, including the minis, because the minis are now officially also 1112s, whether they be rectangular or square, or the 255. The Luxonomy says, this video was epically hilarious. Call it Vegas. And not today, Satan, not today killed me. Thank you. These are 2 quotes from the video. I mean, yeah. Ciao. Yeah, ghetto. Kyla says, so true, babe. Quatrefoils, or quatrefoils, I hope I'm not butchering the name. The problem with your analysis, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. The problem with my with your analysis, meaning me, is that you assume everyone buying scarves and shoes and hats and porcelain and ready-to-wear and more accessible bags are retching all the way to the cash register. And many of us actually love a lot of items and enjoy buying them. I can only speak for myself. I have 2 Birkins and a Kelly, and to be honest, I would probably like 1 more of each, and that's about it. Will still buy shoes and other items of interest once my bag collection is complete. Also, a brand has every right to treat its loyal clients to perks. In this case, the perk is the limited and coveted Birkin or Kelly bag. I never assumed that everyone is buying scarves, shoes, hats, porcelain, ready-to-wear, and more accessible bags just because they want to get a Kelly and a Birkin. I never assumed that. Listen to my video. Listen to what I say fully from beginning to end. A lot of y'alls have this tendency of commenting after you've heard 2 sentences of a video that is 39 minutes long. So, me being also a person who loves Hermes, I buy my pieces. I don't care for a Kelly and a Birkin. I still like what they do. The more kinky pieces, which I get for myself. That's what I like about Hermes. I love the whole horse riding gear stuff. It gets my grinds going. So that's what I like about them. You know, Kelly and Birkin, you can keep them, boo. But this, like the weird stuff like this, like little innuendos, I really like. And so I don't assume. How could I assume that everyone's like that? By logic alone, I cannot think that of everyone because look, I have Hermes products and I don't want a Kelly and a Birkin. So I can't assume everyone wants to purchase all of these goods just to be able to purchase a Kelly and a Birkin one day because I ain't one of them. So by that fact alone, your whole theory crumbles. Moving on. Alaya Max says, loved how you educated us or them on this cult journey. Class was in session. Agreed with every word. Dacob, we got your back. Let them come. Thank you so much, Alaya. Very sweet of you. Carly the Sack says, hey, if someone really wants a Kelly or Birkin, I think this is the perfect video to watch. If you can't take the honesty, then maybe you don't really want one. Good point. Roxanne says, this was very informative, and if I had the money, I wouldn't want one. I'm practical, not insane. 295,000 for like, you know, the special ones used. That's a house. Candy Nava, thank you. So Candy Nava is a member of the Fashion Bunker. I have no idea about the whole fashion business, but your explanations lead me to the following conviction. If you're very rich / famous, it's no big deal to eventually get to the bag. In the meantime, you just buy a yacht or something else. However, if you are a rather average person like me, you not only have to spend a lot of money, but above all that, you have to endure being a very patient and devoted person towards a company to finally get to the glorious goal. And that makes the whole thing totally unattractive to me in the end. Unfortunately. Good point. But, you know, yeah, I mean, if you're really, really that rich, you have your other connections. You get offered stuff in different ways. It's a whole system, you know, like in Orson Welles' Animal Farm, you know, when the animals united to fight against, being enslaved by man, and you know, and the pigs kind of took over, and you know, they all said all animals are equal, but then the pigs at one point said all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Read the book; it's a good one, Animal Farm by George Orwell. El Aidem says, yes, I have said it before. Hermes is sounding more and more like a cult. Also, fun fact, there is a Greek god named Hermes. Also, it is a cult that is named Hermes. Hermes Far Eastern Shining, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know about the cult, but girl, sounds tricky. Cici Libre says, oh, the shade. But true, that's exactly how I got mine. I made it clear what I wanted and what else I was willing to buy. Not quite that blunt, but in essence, that's what went down. French Riviera Lux says, hi Dacob, thank you for this video. My Hermes journey was bad, and now I don't buy from them anymore. Marlene Perez, or Perez, you are so true on Hermes. We as a consumer are used like a tool. It is so funny. Some YouTubers are saying without buying anything, they just ask and they get the bag. Love your video. Hope Chanel never gets like that. Kisses from New York City, Madeleine. Kisses to you too, sweetie. The Body 360 says, I think you are completely right in exposing this farce at Hermes, but I do like both of the Birkin 30 and Kelly 28 because of their simplicity. Are they worth the money? Absolutely not. As for Chanel, I think the quality of both the lambskin and caviar are terrible now, looking so plastic. I have 2 vintage Chanels and there's just no comparison. Chanel think they can get away with cheap rubbish, the hardware tarnishes in months for a premium price. I felt the leather on a recent Chanel trendy and it looked like one of those cheap leather sofas. It is a shame because some of the styles are interesting, but the Body 360, Chanel has changed that. You know that since April of 2021, every Chanel bag gets a 5-year warranty. Every bag you purchase from April 2021, not small leather, good, except for the wallet on chain, that one is included in the 5-year warranty. No other luxury fashion house does that. And this is not about like, oh, you know, if you have a good relationship with your sales associate, you know, they can, you know, repair your bag even after the warranty is expired. No, every bag purchased from April 2021 gets a 5-year warranty. So if your hardware tarnishes within 2 years or within 1 year, you're covered. Chanel got you covered. You bring it back, you're like, hey, I got a 5-year warranty, fix it. And they will. And they will, because they stand behind their bags now. So stuff is changing at Chanel. They are realizing that their prices have gone so far up that they got to offer something in return to the client. And they're offering this new 5-year warranty, which Hermes doesn't. Preemie Yummy Life, Sandy says, honest video, my love. I love Hermes, the brand. I'll take the offers if it fits my aesthetic. I'm urban chic. Thanks for sharing, Sandy. Aisha, how you doing, sweetie? Aisha is also a member of the Fashion Bunker. Thank you so much for being a member. Another informative video. So glad you posted this as I fell asleep before this part of the live stream. The only item I have from Hermes is a beautiful scarf and I treasure it. Tyler writes, I couldn't ever justify buying a Birkin new, but you can every once in a while find a great vintage exotic for just a bit over the price that a new Clemence basic Birkin retails at, and that is how I scored my Ostrich 35 Birkin. But I completely agree, I would never jump through hoops to drop $15,000, so I'll stick to my pre-loved Hermes. B. Rachel says, oh, I've always wanted to hear your take on this. All this journey crap is just nauseating and normalized by influencers saying it is a huge achievement and honor to be offered a bag. And how people get themselves tied up in knots trying to score dream bags is a big waste of energy. Our real journey is a journey towards building a house, getting a degree, or falling in love and going through life together. This is not a journey. I mean, she meant the Hermes journey is not a journey. LOL. They have played a very clever, unofficial game to create this illusion with full deniability. There is a word, and the word is vulgar. P.S. I don't get the variation. I have friends who have walked in high street clothes and asked and been called in 8 weeks later. Others who have stalked essays relentlessly to get there. I also hear the essays win the bags in a staff lotto, so they get the right to offer to their client list? Who the F knows? Well said, B. Christina Martinaita says, you said what most of us think, but don't have courage to say. Bravo. Thank you so much, Christina. Miel says, totally agree. This is exactly why I'm not sure I'll ever get a bag from the boutique. While I respect the brand and its history and quality, the game they make you play to get a Birkin or Kelly really turns me off. However, I do actually like the Kelly's shape, even without the status of the brand. I looked really hard to find a bag that has a similar shape as the Kelly, but without the name or price tag, but sadly all of them look like a fake Kelly or are very poor quality. I thought about starting my own journey to get one, but to be very honest, I found myself looking for something to like. I guess I'm not their target customer. With Chanel, on the other hand, I like a lot of what they offer. That is why my growing luxury collection is almost all Chanel. Sharon Osvenom says, what Hermes does to customers is disgusting. It should be illegal. Yet people are willing to play along. So they just perpetuate it. Lisa Knowlton says, the Vegas sandwich that I also mentioned in the first video I made. Thank you for such a refreshing and honest take on the topic. There is nothing luxurious about a journey of psychological mind games. Denito Poopy says, did you know that Hermes employs people with brain injuries and developmental disabilities to make the riding crops you so graciously admit to owning? When was the last time you heard of Chanel employing people with disabilities? Girl, we're going to go that route? Okay, let's go that route. Do you think it's economically feasible to run a business selling only niche, obscure products that only a handful of people want? You're literally saying, apart from the Birkin and Kelly, everything else Hermes makes is niche and obscure. Girl. So Hermes is a family-owned business that fought off a hostile takeover attempt by LVMH. Boo-boo, may I remind you that Chanel is also still privately owned, just like Hermes. But we digress. A little rhyme. So, family-owned business that fought off a hostile takeover attempt by LVMH by banding together and not letting Louis Vuitton chip away at each member individually. And through sheer brilliance came out of it the wealthiest family in Europe. I thought the wealthiest family in Europe are the owners of like Aldi and Zara, but we digress again. None of the items sold by branded luxury houses are basic necessities of life. And no one is required to buy any of this. I agree. You're not obliged. You don't have to. You're not forced to. You paint people who are willing to jump through these hoops in a very unkind light. Really? Am I though? Or do you just feel offended because you think I'm talking about you? Because I do not portray the people who are willing to jump through these hoops in an unkind light. If people don't care for any of the extras that they got to purchase before they are allowed to purchase a Kelly or Birkin, if people want to play this game, yeah, I'm going to tell it to their face, and I said it in the video. Listen, I don't sugarcoat things, okay? I don't play that game, Missy. With me, you get the truth, raw. I don't deal with people who always smile to your face but talk shit behind your back. That's not me. If I got shit to tell you, I'm going to tell it to your face. You can't handle the truth? There or there, there's two doors. Choose which one you want. However, if you want a relationship and a rapport with somebody who's always going to be honest and truthful to you, then you're at the right spot here. And I'm going to tell you that to me, it feels cringe. If you're willing, if you don't like any of the extra products that you got to buy before you get offered to buy a Kelly or a Birkin, but you still buy them, then I'm going to tell you, wake the F up. Don't do that to yourself. And if you keep doing it to yourself, don't come complaining to me. Don't come complaining to me 1 year later telling me, oh, Dacob, my sales associate still didn't offer me a Kelly or Birkin. I'm like, that's your problem. I don't care. I warned you a year ago. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't buy stuff and shit you don't like. Shit for you because you don't like it, but maybe gold to somebody else. A lot of people are going to think that the Kelly choker that I have is shit. To me, it's gold. I love it. I have it already now 10 years. So, you know what I mean? To each their own. But then don't come to me crying later. Oh my God, I spent $25,000 at Hermes buying stuff that I don't really care for just because I wanted the bag and they never gave it to me and they never let me buy it. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to hear your lament. That is your problem. You went along with that game, a game that they never set the rules to straight to you, to your face, because they were not honest enough to tell you to your face how it goes. Just like you want me to not be unkind to people and like play it nice and gentle and soft to them. Why? Hermes is already playing that fake game. I don't do that fakery. I'm direct. I'm going to tell you to your face where it's at. And where it's at is simple. Their game is, we're not going to tell you that you got to buy stuff before we offer you the bag, but you got to buy the stuff before we offer you the bag. We're not going to tell you that even if you keep buying stuff, we might not offer you the bag, but we might not offer you the bag even if you keep buying stuff. Because why? Because there's no rules set in place. So legally, we, the brand, can always say, well, we didn't force you to buy the tarot cards. We didn't force you to buy the bracelets. We didn't force you to buy the scarves. You bought them because you wanted to buy them. We don't have any rules set in place that you got to buy that stuff before you can buy Birkin and a Kelly. So why are you coming back to us complaining about, oh, you spent so much money and we didn't offer you to purchase a Kelly and a Birkin? You bought what you wanted to buy. Nobody forced you to buy that stuff, boo. So you see what I mean? When I tell you, wake up, if you're buying stuff that you don't like just because you need to spend that money in order to be offered a Kelly and a Birkin, that's cringe. You got a problem. You are the problem. And is that portraying you in unkind words, or is that just, you know, being Cher in Moonstruck, slapping you and saying, snap out of it? And she slapped a guy she loved. She didn't slap a person that she didn't love. So unkind, I think your judgment of my words is what's unkind here. But I can live with it. Can you? Moving on. So, you paint people who are willing to jump through these hoops in a very unkind light, as if they're stupid and incapable of grasping the situation they find themselves willingly in. As for calling it a journey, instead of using your lexicon of a cult, girl, I've watched your other videos. How have you? Are you saying you don't choose the words to describe your own buying habits carefully, presenting yourself in the best light possible? No, absolutely not. I tell you when I got my addiction issues, when I get my hoarding issues, when I go on my sickly binge, when I fall in love with a perfume and then I gotta stock up and buy 10 bottles of it because I'm scared they're gonna reformulate it or that they're gonna discontinue it. Like, I am flawed as F. Super flawed. And I could list my flaws for days on end. Okay? I'm not gonna be that stick up a butt bitch sitting down on her chair being like, what are you talking about? I'm prim and proper. Oh, I don't do those things. Girl, I do those things and then some. Ain't no saint. Never was, never will be. I hope no one ever scrutinizes a Chanel fan's dictionary and rewrites it to expose their blind stupidity for spending $8,000 on a bag that cost Chanel about $168 to produce. Girl, are you trying to expose me? Because you mentioned before that you watched my videos. Obviously, Missy did not watch my videos. You know how many videos I made on I will not buy a Chanel bag again? Watch those videos before you come for me, because otherwise you're going to fall on your nose, and I wouldn't want you to break your nose falling. I want you to preserve your beautiful nose the way it is. Watch the videos. Don't stumble on the banana peel that you dropped by claiming stuff that's not true. You dropped that banana peel, girl. So you're going to slip on your own banana peel? What a comedy act you are. I do make the videos where I mean, for those of you who really watch my videos, you know. All jokes aside, I criticize Chanel a lot. I don't think there's anybody who loves Chanel more than me that at the same time criticizes Chanel more than me. And I am the first one to tell you, oh the hell no, I ain't gonna drop 8K on a Chanel bag. Those days, no. Never have and never will. I never spent so much money on a Chanel bag. I stopped purchasing those bags that cost that much after they went over 4.5, 5K. Done for me. I don't go down that rabbit hole. So if you're implying that I'm the one who's purchasing those $8,000 bags, show me a video in which I unbox a bag that costs that much. You'll never find one because I never bought one that costs that much. And the Chanel bags that cost about $168 to produce, oh honey, how much do you think it costs them to produce a Kelly and a Birkin? Like, you guys watching live, like who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna break the news to her? The last straw was implying that Hermes's business practices are racist because they require Asians to suffer through greater hardships to acquire a Birkin. I never said that. I said racial profiling, which is different than being racist. And you tell me that it is not easier to score a Birkin and a Kelly in Paris than it is in Asia. Come on, prove it to me. Prove it to me. And then we can talk about non-racial profiling. They don't want to open more boutiques in those countries. There's a certain game that's played there. So call it however you want to call it, but don't put words in my mouth. Because I never used that word. Racial profiling is different than racism. It's different. It's different. Do you realize how absurd that sounds? They are in business to make money. Oh, now you get to the actual truth, honey. Right, you're saying, yeah, they want money. So they're ready to lie and manipulate to get that money. So they're in the business to make money. I agree with you on that. If the money is in Asia, you can bet your bottom euro they will roll out the red carpet for their Asian customers. Case in point, Hermes started a Chinese company called Shangjia in partnership with Jiangkyong ER, that is a Chinese company that produces Chinese high-end clothing and designed by and produced by Chinese artisans for the Chinese market. It was I do not know about this brand. It was a celebration of all things Chinese for the Chinese. Okay, so did this factory and did this brand also produce a Chinese version of a Kelly and a Birkin? Because that's all their customers want. So what are you trying to tell me here? Hermes was very discreet about their involvement, probably because they didn't want the rest of the world to know that they were manufacturing stuff in China. Maybe, just maybe. But did open a boutique in Paris, the only one outside of China. They support many philanthropic efforts for fostering up-and-coming artists, music, and the like. So does Chanel. But whatever, you don't care about that. I've been to silkscreen demonstrations. They've exhibited through museums across the world. Chanel has done the same with their products through the world. But you don't know about that, obviously, because otherwise, why would you use this as an example? Much of this bankrolled by the sales of Birkins and Kellys. Honey. Okay. What has Chanel done but cut quality and raise prices? Look it up, to quote Madonna, and then you'll find out what they have done. And they have done way more than you imply. Actually, you imply that they've done zero. Girl, get an education. Gidre Bay says, it's like diamonds are rare, not. I know the whole story, how elite families manipulated that game, including every movie in every country has to propose with the diamond ring. Diamonds are not either precious stones, it's all fake. That's why if you look at so-called royalty, they wear rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and only a few exceptional rare museum quality diamonds. Brainwashing on the highest scale. That's why the world is in the situation pandemic right now because so many brainwashed people for a trinket. Oh my God, a lot of abbreviations. I don't know what the M stands. I don't know. You spelled something wrong. Many brainwashed people for a trinket. M for so comfortable life, imaginable prestige, ready to sign their rights away. Just ask to put us in chains. We're falling so low, acting as slaves for what? For a bag. Please, no wonder why I never cared for Hermes. Now I would maybe like a mini Kelly, but refuse to act as a slave for anyone or anything. Thank you for telling how it is. No need to sugarcoat. And for those who don't like, that's okay. And what do you even mean you can afford or not? Those brands have creating generational wealth and laughing from us, the slaves. Blessings. Loving the shade. Maria Robinson says, you killed this. Thank you so much, Maria. Roquin du Nord, I am an Hermes jewelry addict, but lucky me, I am not at all into their bags. Nothing that could match real active life. Even dropped Louis Delvaux, Belgian brand, and others. Now buying Tumis, LOL. Wish you a nice day. Wearing Bois des Îles today. Wonderful perfume. Ray says, my thing is, the journey is stupid. When you look outside Hermes, there's so many Kellys and Birkins, pre-loved, and brand new. Non-Hermes resellers have shelves stocked with them, yet the prices are still high. What that tells us is that there is a man-made bubble. This exclusivity that they achieved is fragile. Very, very, very good point, Ray. Ruthann McKinnon says, finally some honesty about this Hermes bag and Enzism. I'm just sitting here loving my $100 dupe. LOL. Okay. Aaron Biko says, I would never play this game. I knew beforehand this whole journey is a scam. And it's so ridiculous to spend money on things you don't want to maybe be lucky enough to be the chosen one and get a bag. I'm just saving up, and within a year or two, I'll be able to buy a Birkin secondhand in one of my dream colors, pre-loved. Still, it will be cheaper than playing the game and spending money on fine jewelry and blankets and pillows when I don't even want them. I guess some people enjoy the rush and the gamble of it, though where I've never gambled before. Carolina Zimt says you're completely right. Michelle Isabelle Dugan says, well done. It's downright obscene to hear it spoken aloud. You nailed it. And yeah, if Zara sold the design first, who knows if it would even sell. Daniel says, I heard buying Hermes fine jewelry will get your Birkin or Kelly faster. K to the D says, preach it. Meanwhile, 97% of the people never heard of Hermes before. I could go on, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the luxury and the fashion community is relatively small. So we're like, all of us talking about it, we think like, oh, the whole world knows about it. But it's true. A lot of people don't even care about it. So, I mean, again, first world topics, first world problems. You clicked on this video. So, you know what I mean? It's like, we know, we get it. All of this is so futile. We don't really even need to talk about it. We just do because we're passionate about this crazy stuff. Amy Anderson says, this is sick. I'm very happy to not be into these bags. This sounds embarrassing to be a part of. You're brilliant, well spoken. Thank you so much. Alex says, this is why I prefer secondhand or vintage. Playing the game feels degrading. I love the bags, but not the chase. Oli Soto, who is a member to the Fashion Bunker, thank you so much for being a member, says, slow clap, bravo, Dacob. Thank you so much. Monica says, LOL, and the fact that people consider getting a Birkin Kelly as reaching a milestone in life is just pathetic. Cito M says, I own Chanel, Versace, and Coach bags. Those are three completely different brands, but I bought them because I love the bag itself, rather than buying the brand name behind them. And more importantly, rather than how much it cost. I feel like people that get on this journey are coping with an emotional need of being accepted. They want to feel they made it, that they were worth enough of obtaining. This goes beyond fashion. This is a psychologically very Interesting point, Sito. I applaud you for that. This makes a lot of sense, and it is a much deeper topic, and actually could be a topic for an entire other video. The psychology behind it, the psychology of the consumer, and the desirability, and the need to feel accepted, but kind of like transposing that need to be accepted by paying into something that once you obtain that bag, you feel like you've made it in the acceptance realm. I'm sure there's some psychologist or psychiatrist out there that has a name coined for this type of dysfunction, because it does feel like it could be a sort of a dysfunction, maybe, perchance. Eliza Wang says, I guess I am dumb enough to pay over 10K for a new 2018 Lucky Charm reissue. By the way, so the word journey, okay, so somebody who loves Chanel, but the word journey is sad itself. After years in a loyal family relationship and blood relationship to my kids, I'm desperate only for freedom and space to breathe. The journey itself is intimidating to me and totally appalling in your words. Besides that, it made me super uncomfortable, like screaming shame in front of the world. Guadalupe Gonzalez sends us love. Thank you so much. Daniel in the Antipodes, who is a patron to the Fashion Bunker. Thank you so much, Daniel, for being a patron since many years, by the way. Daniel says, I don't find Birkins unattractive, though they are not chic. I have always said that a Birkin is an ideal bag for a person of a certain age. I rather like them being of a certain age myself, but I have no illusions about the ridiculousness of the cost and the nonsense involved in getting one. I could afford one Birkin. It is cheaper than a car, but I will not pay for all the extras. I do not buy bags with fake logos ever. I would never buy even an unbranded duplicate of a Chanel bag. However, I am okay with duplicate Hermes bags. This is because whereas I can walk into Chanel and buy any bag I want, restricted only by my personal willingness to spend the money, the staff at Hermes will never sell me a Birkin or a Kelly. I am completely excluded. So I don't mind buying the duplicates. At 1% of the cost, and that is for a dupe which has not been made by slaves, but by decently paid workers. The word journey is ridiculously overused. A journey is a world cruise. A journey is not buying a bag. LOL. Thank you for the video. Thank you so much, Daniel. Although many people would beg to differ about the slave part of the production of the bags, because allegedly their artisans are paid very well to make those bags. Although we have seen reports and videos secretly filmed in factories, also, you know, the sweatshops outside in the outer skirts of Italy, where people have been filmed making Hermes bags. I mean, a lot goes down. There's a lot of sketchy stuff going on there, so we don't really know, but we have to say allegedly, right? Eric says, the Birkin screams old lady bag. Cream says, you are too smart for them. Thank you, Dacob, for saying this. Thank you so much, Cream. Margarita says, someone actually gave you a thumb down. You are 100%. You are 100%. It's ratchet. Holy Grace, who is a member of the Fashion Bunker, thank you so much for being a member, says, yes, 100%. If I ever want a Hermes bag, Birkin or Kelly, which I think I might in the future, it will be bought on the pre-loved market, and I will pay the price. Only if I am more well off financially in the future, though. Shane Jobs says, was in Ritz, Paris, and as we enter the lobby, the hotel lobby, we saw three very, and then she quotes them, proud Asians carrying orange Birkins, showing off like they're the most sophisticated humans in the world. My husband, being Parisian, said to me, Hermes bags look so cheap. Sophia Stern says, whoa, the best Hermes rant. I laughed so hard. You are correct. Those two bag styles are becoming more and more ghetto by the day. Thanks to social media. I keep my vintage ones home now. So you see, a lot of people are also starting to not feel comfortable wearing their bags out and about. First of all, two problems. One problem, yeah, the social media. Like, it's really some skanky people out there, you know, showing off their Birkins and Kellys, and it just makes it look really terrible. But on the same side, because they're becoming so expensive, it's a liability to walk around the city with one of them, because you're like screaming to people like, here, 10, 15, 20, 30K in my hand. It's just no fun. It's no fun. It's really not fun to have that bag on any level. Miss Frankie Cat says the journey language is ridiculous. A lot of YouTubers also talk about scoring these bags, which is even more telling terminology, because the whole abusive cycle of sucking up to sales assistants seems like an addiction to me. Indigo Girl says, more videos speaking up on this very important topic. You are so eloquent and might talk some sense into some who may be taking that Hermes journey to something not fulfilling in the long run. Is it a wonderful shopping experience or desperation for opportunities to possibly purchase a bag you're not wanting? But buying purely based on an opportunity, that may not be in your best interest? Good point. Katya says, I was in the Hermes Stockholm store and asked just to take a look at the Kelly they had on display. Just to look. They did let me take a look, but the salesperson, and I'm not using the word assistant as there was no kind assistance involved, shook her curly head, showing the bag, and said very loud, "You can't buy it." Katya then said, "Well, honey, I know." It's so amusing. That charade is so ridiculous. My favorites with Maggie is applauding. Thank you so much. S says, really? This is so ratchet. What an effing turnoff. Sharma G says, comparing the journey to the Las Vegas sandwich trick was everything. Made me subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. You guys thumb up this video if you're liking it thus far, and subscribe to my channel too. John Vox is sending us a thumbs up. Olival, who is a member of the Fashion Bunker, thank you so much for being a member. You too can join. Push the join button next to the subscription button and become a member today. Again, access to extra perks. Sorry I missed this live, Dacob. Personally, I'm a huge Kelly fan and a collector. To your point, it's a whole other ball game, and you just need the stamina. It's tiring if you don't love all the things by the brand and only like bags or SLGs. It will be a bad overall experience. I love everything by the house. The ready-to-wear, the jewelry, and my God, I love the silks. So, it was never hard. And the bags came over the years. Now, Olival, you really nailed it. This is perfectly well put. If you love the brand anyway, it's a natural progression. You just buy the stuff you love there. From time to time, you get a Birkin and a Kelly if you want. But, you know, there are people who are so crazy that they would just go every week and buy a new Kelly and a new Birkin. I'm also against that. Like, no, give other people an opportunity as well. I know they're fakely kept in, like, the scarcity is fake, but they're also really not that of a mass-produced product, okay? They don't produce 1 billion bags a year. So why would I give you 10 of them when I could satisfy 10 people? Give each one of them one. Roger says, I'll be honest. Roger Chan, I'm in the Hermes game. What frustrates me about Hermes is not just the game, but the Hermes community too. I feel my sales associate made me jump through hoops to get my first bag. Upon my first offer, I felt like my sales associate insinuated that she'll make your wish list come true if I stuck with her. With that said, what irks me is the people who have a few Birkins and Kelly on places like the Purse Forum. They'll tell you not to compare your journey to others. So I agree with you, the Hermes game or the Hermes system is not a journey. They do have some nice things, but you're right that the game sucks. With that said, I really am glad to have stumbled upon your videos. Thank you so much, Roger. I thought I'd take a break from buying Hermes items and try Chanel. While I know you recently had a video about Vestiaire Collective, you could check out my Vestiaire Collective video, card section up above, link in the description box down below as well, and the follow-up video coming out as well, exposing Vestiaire Collective. I was eyeing a 255 in So Black. It's just so hard to get it new from my local Chanel. Well, at least the mini reissue is hard to get in So Black. So I found the 255 in the standard size in So Black. So hopefully everything works out. Fingers crossed that it does. Chanel is a great brand, by the way. Jane says, LMAO telling the king of Chanel he can't afford a Birkin. Yeah. Some people think that. This video made me laugh so hard, especially with the other YouTubers going on and on about going to their Hermes journey, like they're reaching enlightenment. And then the ones I'm so shocked I was able to get one, videos, it's so cringe. Maya Mayist says, people that like these two bags are ones that appreciate classic style bags, I guess. For the rest, it's the price and unattainability or the marketing that makes them want it. Both bags are nothing spectacular in terms of design. I agree that it's not Hermes. Not many would buy it. If it wasn't Hermes, not many would buy it. Sherry Darling says, I think everyone has that bag that made them fall in love with luxury bags. I remember when I was very young, my grandmother got the Birkin and I fell in love with it at first sight. I always wanted the Birkin and the Kelly. I still kind of do, but I don't like begging for people to make my money, to take my money. So I may never buy the Birkin or Kelly. However, I'm very happy with my closet full of Chanel. Oh my gosh, you guys, it keeps going and going. I would love to get through all of them, but like time is flipping. Let me read Marcello Brezaula, who is a member to the Fashion Bunker. Thank you, Marcello, for being a member. Well said, Dacob. The idea of having to submit ourselves to this foolish game to be able to buy a bag is not elegant at all. I also believe that many people want to purchase those bags so they can show how exclusive or special they are. And Marina Kiritsis says, I could never afford one or want something my clubber could create to my specifications. During lockdown, I went down the rabbit hole of Hermes unboxing videos and people crying at not being offered one after spending tons of items or the suspicion that the SA didn't like them. I don't get it. You're right. It's a cult. Melikito says, laughed out loud so many times, I must admit I had similar feelings on Hermes a few years ago, full disclosure. I'm not trying to get a Birkin or Kelly at the moment. When in store, I have always had a lovely experience and have never felt looked up and down. I try to really not blame a brand for an uncouth employee in general. I have come to wonder why there is such an emphasis on a spending quota with Hermes. If you love a brand, you spend on the brand. I've spent so much money on Chanel and Louis, and no one talks about their spending history. I agree this is a consumer issue. It's my belief Hermes does try to avoid selling to resellers. This is where and why there seems to be game playing. I'm not an expert on Hermes by any means, but I will say all these luxury companies play games, sadly. Oh my God, you guys. So anyway, Robert, who's also a member of the Fashion Bunker. Thank you so much for being a member. Robert says, Viljolin, it is vulgar, so it can't be luxury. Quote from Coco, indirect quote from Coco, because Coco always used to say, Coco Chanel, poverty is not the opposite of luxury. Vulgarity is the opposite of luxury. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I would love to read your comments as well, but like this video is super long. So Holy Grace says, who's also commenting, I wonder what Jane Birkin herself thinks of all of this. Well, even Jane Birkin, I think, had to pay for her bag. Phew, that's a lot of comments. And I didn't even read half of them, you guys. So we might make a second part to this because also then this video is going to get comments. So keep them coming in. Keep the comments coming in and thumb up this video. Olivo says, Holy Grace, I'm sure Birkin has been handsomely rewarded for the use of her name. Not so sure about that. Olivo says, we're keeping you busy. Robert is sending us a Red Room thing. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching. I say don't shoot the messenger, but hey, if you have nothing better to do, try. But you're gonna miss, and I'm gonna dodge a bullet because we always speak the truth. And we keep it very straightforward and raw. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to say until next time, never give up on love, but I don't know if we can roll the end credits. First, there they are. So, if you push the join button next to the subscription button, you become a member of the Fashion Bunker, gain access to extra perks. You can also get extra perks by becoming a patron on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together on Patreon. By becoming a patron or a member, your name is always listed at the end of every video as the co-producer of the Fashion Bunker in this wonderful final end credits. Consider that. You also get access to exclusive videos that don't come to YouTube. You also get access to exclusive coupon codes for reductions for my merch store. At the moment, we got Never Give Up on Love, which is the say that I always end my videos with. You could check that out in the merch store. New merch is coming out soon, so this is kind of the last chance to get this style, which will be retired soon. Let me read some more of your comments. Oh, also follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, superdacob, all spelled together. You can also follow me on my Chanel dedicated Instagram profiles. One is called Coco Chanel is in my house, all spelled together, dedicated to my Chanel collection. I'm not going to show you Birkin or Kelly, but I'm going to show you, I'm telling you, the revival of the clutch. Check out this video, unboxing and review of this one. This is a 255 clutch. Oh, the love of my life. This one is just so elegant. Clutches are having a comeback, you guys. They are returning in full force, but that's a story for another day. Or you could click on the video and check this, the review out of this one and the whole conversation. Tune in every Saturday for the live stream and be part of the conversation here. Let me read some more of your comments. Leslie Creven says, sweetie, you're going to need a bodyguard after this video airs. Oh, Leslie. Thou shall not buy this bag, says Mr. Philip Fabulous, very Lord of the Rings. Olivo says, I will agree though, decades of purchasing Hermes. I don't have a single Birkin, never will. It's not a very attractive bag for my taste. And that's a good point. I keep buying Hermes as well, but I just don't ask them for a Birkin or Kelly. Holy Grace says, I don't agree that Hermes bags look cheap. They are amazing. And Louis says, I grew up being an outsider and a guy that never fit in. So when I found fashion, somehow I had this need of belonging, and with that, me buying things that aren't my style just because I wanted to fit in. But thankfully, we grow out of that. It's usually something that happens in your youth as well, because you're more into that need to belong. But then when you, with maturity and wisdom comes that moment in time when you also learn that you are your own person, you are your own individual, you have your own mind, your own preferences and desires. Some people never grow out of that. Some people still stay victims to whatever their friends buy. They want to buy the same. Whatever they see on social media, they want to buy the same. But a lot of people grow out of that and find their own path. They go on their own journey, not a journey to an Hermes boutique, not a journey towards being allowed to afford a Hermes or a Kelly, Hermes, Kelly, or Birkin. No. It's the journey towards discovering one's true self. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.